Hi, today we're going to take a look at my progress towards making a good sugar carbon material for creating a energy storage device, whether it's a supercap or a battery. I've been honest in sharing my pluses and minuses, and today I think I have some good successes to share. I won't know completely until I finish making it into a battery. What I've done is I've adjusted a number of the parameters. Now, I didn't do a great job because I adjusted all of them at once. And usually you should change like one thing, then retest, then change the next thing and retest so that you can know which parameter it is, which thing you did that causes the right reaction. Didn't do that this time, but I'm hoping that it will work out. What I've done is I am still using sugar and salt, normal household table sugar and table salt. Uh, I've reduced the amount of them to 5 grams of each. So 5 grams of sugar and 5 grams of salt, going back to a measuring by weight as opposed to a measuring by volume. Last time I did tablespoons, and this time I'm going back to measuring by weight. Then I added 1 gram of urea. Urea is a compound that has a little bit of carbon, a little bit of hydrogen, but it has nitrogen in it. And as such, I believe, I hope that it will help to make less of an oxygen atmosphere in the container that is being microwaved. And then finally, I wanted to ensure the conductivity. And so I added roughly 20%, in other words, 2 grams of flake graphite. In my case, 50 micron was the size. It's a fairly small, but you can get much smaller. But flake graphite is just pure carbon in a particular form. It's in flakes, which is why it's a good thing to use when you're making graphene or when you're doing other experiments. It is conductive, which is the most important part for my experiment. So here is what I used. Let me do this. I used 5 grams of sugar, just good old fine normal table sugar, 5 grams of salt. Now you'll notice that the urea, 1 gram of urea, is a lot coarser crystals. And then the graphite is actually a lot finer grain, and so it takes up even more area than the others. There, you can see it that way. It takes up more area than the others, but that really is only 2 grams of the graphite mixture. Come on, focus, focus. Okay. So what I did next is I took these 4 things and I put them into this, a little coffee grinder, and ground them up into a fine powder. I'll show you next what that powder looks like. And here is the resulting powder, kind of a gray generic powder with some white specks. Probably the white specks are both, especially both salt and urea, could be sugar as well. Not a perfect mixture, but pretty darn good. So I made up 2 copies, 2 quantities of this, and I put them into the coffee cups, the ceramic coffee cups, and I turned them on. I put them in the microwave and turned it on at full power. I had to stop it after just a couple minutes because I was doing this at school and it was smoking. And I was doing it during lunchtime, and I can't have a lot of smoke around during lunchtime. But after 2 minutes, it already filled this. It started off as just being down in the base of the cup, and then it got to this point within just a couple of minutes. And so I remade the items. I remade the mixtures, and I put it in 2 more coffee cups. And what I did this time is I did a sandwich, actually, where I had 3 tiles, ceramic tiles down below, and, to protect the glass of the microwave bed. And then I took a sheet of silicon rubber, high temperature silicon, I put it over the top, and I put 1 more ceramic tile on top of that. This is more, previously I had just used the ceramic tile. This time I used the silicon rubber as well. And because I wanted a little bit better seal, not a great seal though, I wanted it to be able to escape if it needed to, if it outgassed and it needed to escape, but I didn't want new oxygen coming in. So I wanted a little bit better seal, so that's why I did that. And I believe that these mixtures are actually creating something that is a lot hotter than anything I've seen before in the microwave. Probably, most likely because of the graphite. The graphite is conductive to electricity, and when you put conductive metals in a microwave, they tend to spark, and I mean locally, and as long as it's local, it's not a problem. It doesn't damage the microwave, but a little bit of local sparking, and I believe each spark actually is a pretty high temperature. So I had something happen that I haven't had the whole summer long. The whole summer long, we've been baking like 15 different cups of mixtures, and we've had it the whole summer long with 15 different cups every week, and we hadn't broken any cups. But when I did this, I had 2 things break. I had one of the 2 cups break and crack, and I had one of the tiles underneath, the top tile that would get the most heat, also break underneath one of the other cups. Now when that other cup, it fell over to the side and was open, and I could see it sparking, which reminded me why it was sparking, or that it was sparking. So, you know, it is interesting. I believe I've gotten higher temperatures this way, and I suspect strongly that it was because of adding the graphite. But let me show you what I've got in 1 second. So here is the material that has been baked after baking. Let's see if I can get a better shot of this. There we go. There we go. That you can see that it's got a lot of air, and I'm hoping that this type of structure continues all the way down into the nanoscale. That this is just a macro scale of the types of things that are happening down at the nanoscale, so that I can have a lot of surface area. And as we keep reminding everybody, surface area is apparently the king of energy storage devices. I call it energy storage device instead of battery or supercap because I don't know what it's going to be yet. Don't know for sure what it's going to be yet, but it should be fun. Next, I'm going to grind this up as a powder. Now, oh, by the way, when I cooked this, I cooked it for a long time, and I did that because I really wanted it to get hot and to graphitize, not just carbonize, but graphitize if possible. And so I cooked it for 13 minutes. So we'll see. We'll see if that was enough or if that was helpful or not. Ideally, so this is where if you have a lot more time and you're doing a better job of it, you would say, well, you got expansion at 2 minutes. Maybe you didn't need to cook it for 13. So try multiple samples at 2, 3, 4, all the way up to 13 or beyond. And then grind them all up, build each one into a battery, see which one works. Okay, that is absolutely the right way to do it. I'm rushing ahead and trying to do my best, and we'll see. We'll see. I may end up, at some point, I may be able to do that time series test once I've got my powders a little more nailed down. So I'm going to grind this up, and then I'm going to do something hopefully that might be a little interesting. I'll show you the original powder and this ground up material in as a powder through a microscope. just a cheapy little electronic microscope. So that may reveal and hopefully will show a difference in structure. So microscope stuff is next. After that, then that'll probably be it for this video, and I will proceed on with making the battery, and that would be involving first I grind it, then I have to mix it with a binder into an ink. I have to paint it onto some electrodes, create the electrolyte, and put it all together into a battery, and then test that. So that'll be something I report on the next video. And so thank you very much. If the next video is not before Christmas, then Merry Christmas, everyone. Happy New Year. And here we go. Next up is the microscope videos.